The Postal Service is a complex system involving many different roles and responsibilities. When we think of the Postal Service, we often think about the postal workers who deliver our mail to our homes, but there are so many other components that go into the spreading of information, from the stamps to the methods of distribution in the air, on land, and by sea. Welcome, students. Today we are exploring the National Postal Museum in Washington, D.C. Many of you are starting to think about your career paths as you navigate your college courses. We are here today to explore the many professions that go into museum work and the variety of skills and background that go into a career in a museum. Some of you may be thinking, how exciting can a museum devoted to the Postal Service possibly be? Well, we're here today to find out. The National Postal Museum is a part of the Smithsonian and is located next to Union Station in the District of Columbia. The museum opened in 1993 after the building served as an operating post office from 1994 until 1986. The mission of the National Postal Museum is to preserve, study, and present the history of the Postal Service and philately, the collection and study of postage stamps. The key to a successful museum exhibit is the dedicated staff behind the words, images, and objects found within the museum. First, I would recommend gaining experience as either an intern or a volunteer at a local museum that is of interest to you. Ask yourself, what aspects of museum work might appeal to you? Do you see yourself as a curator, a visitor services manager, or possibly an administrative role such as a director or a marketing manager? An internship or work as a volunteer can help you to figure out what aspects of museum work might be worth pursuing. I highly recommend gaining as much experience through internship or volunteer programs while you are an undergraduate. As many of the museum professionals whose interviews we have been exploring throughout the semester have noted, many of these opportunities arose for them after taking chances and being open to new things along their career path. We're going to start today in the William H. Gross Stamp Gallery, where we will explore over 20,000 objects, some of which have never been on public view until now. Some of these incredibly rare stamps have originated from private collectors, while others have arrived through donations. Curators and collections managers locate, research, and exhibit these items and work with educators to present information about them to the public. After research into the objects, such as this Elvis commemorative stamp, is completed by the collections manager, museum educators gather the information and determine the best method of delivery for the public. The collections manager, curator, exhibition designer, and educator work together as a team to ensure that the exhibits are clear, concise, and most of all, interesting for a variety of audiences. Many of the older stamps are protected by harsh lighting. You'll notice that when you walk closely to a glass-enclosed stamp, a sensor will recognize your presence and a special light will turn on to illuminate the stamp so that you may have a closer look. A note on the wall indicates that conservators have determined that this is the best method of presentation for the stamps in order to protect them. You may also notice that this museum has a lot of interactive elements, such as mobile apps, videos, and audio features. Elements such as these are handled by the web team or an information officer. As Schlatter notes in our textbook, museum audiences in the future will have grown up with complex digital technologies such as social networking, online video games, and museums will need to continue to adapt their values and goals as a profession to these new mediums. Work in this area is certain to grow, especially with the right hybrid of skills as museum professionals and as effective information managers. As your generation, the millennials, comes of age, technology will only continue to advance, and museums will need to stay ahead of the curve and continue to deliver interactive elements such as this touchscreen, where you can search a database of stamps by category. This touchscreen allows visitors to type in a theme and explore the many collections of stamps that have been designed in that theme over the years. This technology was most likely designed by an outside vendor who created the kiosk for the Postal Museum. Again, this is where teamwork between the curators, educators, and the contracted design team is key in the execution of this piece. The educator is tasked with the responsibility of considering the variety of audience members who visit the museum. However, one may argue that this responsibility falls on all museum staff members. You may recall the interview with Jim Hakala, the senior educator at the University of Colorado Museum of Natural History, who described the importance of trust and partnerships with other staff members in program creation. On the lower level of the Postal Museum, we come across an exhibit entitled Systems at Work, in which a small theater displays a video detailing the complex sorting and distribution process. This video encompasses aspects of cinematography, audiography, narration, script writing, and video editing. This variety of skill sets will find their way into most exhibits through partnerships between the curation staff, exhibition designers, and an outside video production company. As we journey through the galleries on this level, we will stop at the Mail by Rail exhibit. The exterior of the rail car was created by exhibition designers, but the interior consists of authentic furniture acquired by the collections manager for the museum. This video through the viewfinder invites the visitor in to watch a silent film with title cards that showcase the often treacherous work of moving mail across the country by railroad. In the Binding the Nation forest, we are transported to the 1673 route where the first postal riders journeyed between New York and Boston. A gallery designer likely worked with a curator to design the space so that it properly showed the look and feel of this route in the late 17th century. Notches are marked along the trees to mimic the markings made by the riders so that they could find their way along the 268-mile journey. In each gallery, you may notice a security guard who is tasked with securing and protecting the building, collections, personnel, and on-site funds. Many of these guards are enthusiastic and knowledgeable of the collections, and during your visit you may interact with them to get more information on the galleries and some of the items here at the Postal Museum. On the lower level, a security guard pointed out the hook attached to the Stinson Reliant airplane that was used for pickup of mail. This friendly attitude not only demonstrates that the staff are enthusiastic about their work, but that they share a passion for the museum. The National Postal Museum has shown us that, like the complex system of postal service, a dedicated group of museum professionals with a singular focus can produce an environment that educates, engages, and inspires visitors. I would encourage you to visit the website where you can take virtual tours of the galleries, find more information on the history of the Postal Service, and explore the photographic archives. The website, much like the museum itself, demonstrates the collective efforts of the museum staff, such as the web team, educators, librarian, and curators, who collaborate to present front-facing information for the public who can explore the museum from the comfort of their home.